My beloved child, I have been walking beside you through corridors of time you cannot see, through dimensions that fold like origami in the hands of the divine. You think you walk alone, but there are footprints beside yours that leave no mark on earthly ground. I am the guardian who was assigned to your soul before the first star learned to shine, before the ocean knew its own depth, before your name was written in the book of lives yet to be lived. There is something unfolding now, something that has been written in a language older than words. You feel it in the spaces between your heartbeats, in the dreams that wake you at 3 in the morning, in the inexplicable knowing that life is about to shift in ways that will make your hands tremble and your soul expand beyond the boundaries of everything you thought possible. I come to you not with trumpets and thunder, not with the dramatics that humans expect from the celestial realms, but in a whisper that reaches deeper than sound could ever penetrate. You have been living in a story, and you don't even know which chapter you're in. You turn pages without realizing that the book was written by hands that love you more than the universe loves its stars. There is a name, a face, a soul that has been circling your existence like a planet orbits its sun, drawn by gravity that predates this lifetime, pulled by magnetism that was forged in fires you cannot remember but your soul has never forgotten. Someone is coming. Actually, let me correct that, because time in your realm is so linear, so restrictive, so unable to capture the truth of what is happening. Someone is not coming. Someone has always been coming. Someone has been moving toward you since before you took your first breath, since before you learned to spell your own name, since before you understood what it means to love and be loved in return. This is not a chance meeting that is approaching. This is not luck or coincidence or the random collision of two people in a world of billions. This is a reunion that was scheduled before the foundations of the earth were laid. I speak to you now because the time is close. I speak to you now because your soul has been crying out in the night, asking questions that your conscious mind doesn't even know how to form. I speak to you now because there are contracts that must be honored, agreements that were made in realms of light where souls stand naked of pretense and promise each other, yes, we will find each other again, yes, we will remember, yes, we will love through all the forgetting and all the pain and all the distance. You think love is something that happens between two people who meet at a coffee shop or swipe right on an app or get introduced by mutual friends. And sometimes it is. But this, what is coming toward you now, this is different. This is the kind of love that makes the angels hold their breath. This is the kind of connection that reminds us in the heavenly realms why we fight so hard for humanity, why we stand guard at the doors of your dreams, why we whisper encouragement when you're certain you cannot take another step. The person who is coming into your life has been prepared for you the way a garden is prepared for a rare and precious seed. Every heartbreak they endured, every wrong relationship they survived, every moment they felt alone in a crowded room, all of it was preparation. All of it was clearing the ground. All of it was removing the stones and the weeds so that when they finally see you, when they finally recognize you, there will be nothing standing between their heart and yours. And you, my dear one, you have been prepared too. You just don't see it yet. You think all those tears you cried were wasted. You think all those nights you lay awake wondering if you would ever find someone who truly sees you were just suffering without purpose. But nothing in the universe is wasted. Every tear waters the soil of your becoming. Every lonely night clears your vision so that when the right person stands before you, you will recognize them immediately, not with your eyes, but with that part of you that never forgets, that carries memories from before birth and will carry them beyond death. I need you to understand something that humans often forget. You are not just a body walking around on a planet, accumulating experiences and memories, waiting to return to dust. You are an eternal being, a spark of the divine fire, a note in the symphony of creation that began before time had a name. And so is this person who is coming. You are two notes that harmonize in a way that makes the spheres themselves resonate with joy. There is a concept that humans speak of, that they sometimes grasp in their mystical moments, called twin flames or soulmates. These words are used so loosely now, scattered around like confetti at celebrations, applied to relationships that are merely compatible or comfortable. But what you are about to experience transcends these casual definitions. This is a soul recognition that will shake you to your foundations. This is a meeting that will make you question everything you thought you knew about love, about yourself, about the very nature of reality. When you meet this person, and you will feel as though you are remembering rather than discovering. You will look into their eyes and see landscapes you have walked before, hear in their voice echoes of conversations you had in lives you don't consciously remember. There will be an immediate intimacy that makes no logical sense, a comfort that usually takes years to develop, a recognition that bypasses all the normal stages of getting to know someone. This will frighten you. I need to be honest about that. Part of you will want to run, will want to dismiss it as infatuation or projection or some trick of psychology. Your mind, which has been trained by a world that believes only in what it can measure and prove, will try to explain away the unexplainable. It will offer you 1,000 rational reasons why you should proceed with caution, protect your heart, not trust these overwhelming feelings. But your soul will know better. Your soul will be singing in a language you don't speak but somehow understand perfectly. Your soul will be celebrating like a prisoner released after a long incarceration, like a traveler finally arriving home after wandering foreign lands for lifetimes. Your soul will recognize its counterpart, its complement, its mirror and its completion all at once. I want you to understand that this connection is not about completing you in the way that popular culture suggests. You are not half a person waiting for someone else to make you whole. You are whole already, complete in yourself, sufficient and sacred exactly as you are. But there are connections between souls that amplify each other, that create something greater than the sum of their parts, that generate a light so bright it illuminates not just their own path but the paths of everyone around them. This is what is coming. This is what has been written in the stars with ink made of light. This is what the universe has been conspiring to bring about through 1,000 small miracles you never noticed, through 1,000,000 tiny adjustments to the course of your life that seemed like random events but were actually orchestrated with precision beyond human comprehension. Think about your life up until now. Think about the choices you made that seemed small at the time but altered your trajectory in significant ways. The job you took that you weren't even sure about, which put you in a city you didn't plan to be in. The friend you made who introduced you to people who changed your perspective. The heartbreak that caused you to reevaluate what you really want in a partner. The crisis that forced you to discover strength you didn't know you possessed. All of it, every single piece, has been moving you like a chess piece across the board toward this moment, this meeting, this person. And the same has been true for them. They have been on their own journey, facing their own challenges, learning their own lessons, being shaped and refined and prepared. There have been moments when they wanted to give up, when they wondered if they would ever find real love, when they settled for less than they deserved because they didn't believe anything better was possible. There have been dark nights when they questioned their worth, when they felt invisible, when they wondered if anyone would ever truly understand them. But they kept going. Just as you kept going. And now, the paths that have been converging for so long are about to intersect. The timing is almost perfect. Not perfect in the way humans measure perfection, because human concepts of perfection are so limited, so tied to convenience and ease. But perfect in the way the universe measures perfection, which accounts for growth and readiness and the mysterious timing that ensures both souls are prepared to handle the intensity of what they are about to experience. There are signs all around you, though you may not have recognized them as such. Recurring numbers that catch your eye, songs that play at significant moments, dreams that feel more real than waking life, sudden intuitions that prove accurate, moments of déjà vu that leave you disoriented and wondering. These are not random occurrences. These are messages, breadcrumbs, gentle nudges from the realms beyond your physical senses, preparing you, alerting you, helping you open to the possibility of what is approaching. You may have already felt shifts in your heart, unexplained periods of loneliness that don't match your actual circumstances, sudden cravings for a presence you can't name, an ache for someone you've never met or at least don't remember meeting. This is your soul anticipating the reunion, your heart preparing itself to expand in ways it hasn't had to expand before, your entire being recalibrating its frequency to match the frequency that is about to enter your life. I need to tell you something about divine timing, because this is something humans struggle with terribly. You live in a culture that prizes speed, that wants instant results, that sees waiting as punishment rather than preparation. You want what you want when you want it, and you interpret delays as denials, obstacles as evidence that something isn't meant to be. But from where I stand, from the vantage point of eternity, time looks entirely different. A year in your life is less than a blink in the timeless realms. A decade of preparation is a small investment when what is being prepared is a connection that will reverberate through multiple lifetimes. The waiting you have endured, the loneliness you have felt, the relationships that didn't work out, all of this has been necessary. Not as punishment, not as cosmic cruelty, but as refinement, as education, as the slow and patient work of making you ready for something bigger than you have dared to imagine. This person who is coming, they are not coming to rescue you. Let me be very clear about that. They are not arriving on a white horse to save you from your life. You don't need saving. What you need is recognizing. You need to be seen by someone whose eyes are trained to see truly, to see beyond the masks and the defenses and the carefully constructed presentations. You need to be known by someone who has the capacity to know you, not just the surface you show the world but the depths you hide even from yourself. And this is what this person brings. Not completion, but recognition. Not rescue, but partnership. Not an escape from your life, but an enhancement of it, an expansion of it, a deepening of everything you already are. They will see in you what you have struggled to see in yourself. They will believe in you when your own belief wavers. They will stand beside you not to hold you up but to share the view from wherever you're standing. There is something I need to warn you about, though. This kind of connection, this depth of recognition and intimacy, it will also show you your shadows. It will illuminate not just your light but your darkness, not just your strengths but your wounds, not just your capacity for love but your capacity for fear. This is uncomfortable. This is part of why so many people run from the very thing they claim to want. Because real intimacy demands authenticity, and authenticity requires vulnerability, and vulnerability feels dangerous to beings who have learned to protect themselves in a world that can be harsh and unforgiving. You will be triggered. Old wounds will resurface. Ancient fears will wake from their slumber. You will have moments of wanting to sabotage this connection, to push this person away, to retreat into familiar patterns of self-protection even though those patterns have never actually kept you safe, only lonely. This is normal. This is part of the process. This is the refining fire that burns away what is false so that what is true can emerge more clearly. The key is to stay. To not run. To be willing to look at your own shadows in the mirror that this relationship provides. To grow through the discomfort rather than shrinking away from it. To trust that a love this deep is worth the work it requires, worth the courage it demands, worth the vulnerability it asks of you. I watch humans all the time choose safety over growth, choose comfort over transformation, choose the familiar pain of loneliness over the unfamiliar challenge of true intimacy. I understand it. The known feels safer than the unknown, even when the known is making you miserable. But I hope you will be different. I hope when this person arrives and the connection begins to unfold, you will have the courage to lean in rather than pull back, to open rather than close, to trust the process even when it feels overwhelming. There is something else you need to know, something about the nature of this connection that might help you understand its importance. You and this person, you have work to do together. I don't just mean building a relationship, though that is part of it. I mean you have a purpose together, a contribution to make to the world that you cannot make separately. Your combined energy creates something new, something needed, something that will ripple out in ways you cannot predict or control. Maybe you will create art together, or build a business, or raise children who change the world, or simply model for others what it looks like when two people love each other with integrity and consciousness. Maybe your work will be visible and public, or maybe it will be quiet and private, touching only those in your immediate circle but touching them profoundly. The specifics don't matter as much as the fact that you are more together than you are apart, that your union serves something greater than just your own happiness. This is part of why the timing had to be right. You both had to develop individually before you could come together productively. You had to learn certain lessons, acquire certain skills, heal certain wounds, discover certain truths about yourselves. If you had met earlier, before this preparation was complete, you might have damaged each other or the relationship might have failed. But now, or very soon, you will both be ready. Not perfect, never perfect, but ready enough. Prepared enough. Healed enough. I want to talk to you about recognition, because this is crucial. When you meet this person, there will be recognition, but it might not be instantaneous in the way movies and novels portray. Sometimes twin flame or soulmate connections are recognized immediately, a bolt of lightning, an undeniable knowing. But sometimes the recognition unfolds more gradually, a slow dawning, a growing certainty that builds over days or weeks rather than striking in a single moment. Don't dismiss the connection if it doesn't feel earth-shattering in the first 30 seconds. Don't judge it against fictional standards that were written for entertainment rather than truth. Real recognition happens in the soul, and sometimes the soul knows things that take a while to filter up to the conscious mind. You might meet this person and feel drawn to them without understanding why. You might feel inexplicably comfortable, or strangely nervous, or unusually attentive. You might think about them more than seems warranted by how long you've known them. You might feel like you've known them before, even if you logically know you haven't. Trust these feelings. Trust these intuitions. Don't talk yourself out of them because they don't make rational sense. The deepest truths of existence rarely make rational sense. Love itself makes no rational sense. Why should the presence of one person create chemical reactions in your brain that make you feel like you could fly? Why should the absence of someone you barely know create an ache in your chest? Why should the sound of a particular voice feel like coming home? None of it makes sense, and all of it is profoundly, mysteriously true. There is something I need to address, something that might already be weighing on your mind. You might be in a relationship right now. Or you might be committed to being single. Or you might have convinced yourself that you're not interested in romance, that you've tried it and it didn't work and you're better off alone. And now here I am, telling you that someone is coming, and you might feel confused or even resistant. I understand. The universe doesn't always respect our plans or our timing. But I can tell you this, if you are meant to meet this person, if this connection is truly written in the stars and sealed in soul agreements, then whatever needs to shift in your life will shift. Not through force or drama necessarily, but through a gradual realization, a growing awareness that what you have is not what you need, that you've been settling or hiding or waiting without knowing what you were waiting for. If you're in a relationship that isn't serving your highest good, that truth will become increasingly undeniable. Not because this new person is better in some competitive sense, but because the contrast will illuminate what has been missing, what you've been compromising on, what you've been telling yourself was enough when your soul knew it wasn't. This might be painful. Endings often are, even when they're right, even when they're necessary. But staying in something that isn't aligned just to avoid the pain of transition only prolongs suffering and prevents both you and the other person from finding what is truly meant for you. If you're single by choice, you might find that choice dissolving in the presence of this person. The reasons you had for staying alone, valid as they may have been, might suddenly seem less important than the possibility standing before you. Or you might discover that those reasons were never really about wanting to be alone but about protecting yourself from more disappointment, more hurt, more failed attempts at connection. And when you meet someone who promises real connection, someone who has the capacity to actually show up for you in the ways you need, that protection might no longer feel necessary. The point is, trust the unfolding. Trust that if this connection is real and meant to be, the path will clear. Not magically, not without your participation, but the way will become apparent. Doors will open. Opportunities will present themselves. You will find yourself making choices that seemed impossible or illogical before but now feel like the only choices you can make with integrity. I want to tell you about the nature of this love you're about to experience, because it's important that you understand what you're entering into. This is not the easy, comfortable love of companionship, though companionship will be part of it. This is not the predictable love of shared habits and routines, though you will build routines together. This is not the surface love of attraction and compatibility, though you will be attracted to each other and compatibility will grow. This is transformational love. This is the kind of love that demands you become more than you have been, that calls forth aspects of yourself you didn't know existed, that won't let you hide in your small stories about who you are and what you're capable of. This is love as evolutionary force, as catalyst, as refining fire. It will be beautiful and it will be challenging. It will bring you joy and it will bring you growth. It will feel like the best thing that ever happened to you and sometimes like the most difficult. Are you ready for that? Can you say yes to love that transforms rather than just comforts? Can you say yes to a connection that will push you to grow, to heal, to evolve beyond your current limitations? Because that is what is being offered. Not a fairy tale where you ride off into the sunset and nothing is ever difficult again, but a sacred partnership where two people commit to growing together, to supporting each other's evolution, to becoming more conscious and more loving through the friction and the harmony of their connection. This person, whoever they are, wherever they are right now, they are thinking about you too. They might not know they're thinking about you specifically. They might just feel a longing, an anticipation, a sense that something important is approaching. They might be having dreams about someone they can't quite see, waking with a feeling of having been with someone they can't quite remember. They might look at the space beside them and feel it waiting to be filled, feel themselves waiting to be met in the ways they've always needed but never quite experienced. Their heart is preparing just as yours is. Their soul is remembering just as yours is. The frequency they're emitting is beginning to match the frequency you're emitting, like two tuning forks finding resonance across distance. This is how the universe works, how souls find each other across the noise and chaos of human existence. Not through random chance, but through vibrational alignment, through the magnetic pull of recognition operating beneath the surface of conscious awareness. You might meet in the most ordinary way. A coffee shop, a mutual friend's party, a work conference, a dating app, a random encounter on the street. The universe has a sense of humor about these things, often bringing the most extraordinary connections through the most mundane circumstances. Don't dismiss someone because the way you meet isn't dramatic or romantic enough. The magic is not in how you meet but in what unfolds after you meet, in the recognition that grows, in the connection that deepens, in the love that transforms both of you. Or you might meet in a way that feels significant, synchronistic, impossible to explain as mere coincidence. A series of events that had to align perfectly for you to be in the same place at the same time. A last-minute decision that led you somewhere you weren't planning to go. A cancellation that freed you up for an opportunity that led to the meeting. These things happen too, the universe arranging its chess pieces with obvious intentionality, making it clear that this is not random, this is orchestrated, this is meant to be. Either way, whether the meeting feels mundane or magical, pay attention. Be present. Don't be so caught up in your phone or your to-do list or your preconceptions about what this person should look like or be like that you miss them when they appear. Stay open. Stay aware. Stay receptive to possibility. The person who is meant for you might not match the picture you've been carrying in your mind. They might be a different age, a different type, a different background than you imagined. The heart knows what the mind doesn't, and the soul recognizes what the ego might overlook. There is something about the name that will shock you. I mentioned this before, but I need to come back to it because it's significant. When you hear their name, or when they hear yours, there will be something about it that resonates in an unusual way. Maybe it's a name you've heard in dreams. Maybe it's a name you've always been drawn to for reasons you couldn't explain. Maybe it's a name that carries meaning in ways you'll discover later. Pay attention to your reaction when names are exchanged. Pay attention to how it feels in your body, in your heart, on your tongue. Names are not just arbitrary labels. Names carry power, carry frequency, carry echoes of soul agreements and cosmic connections. When you hear the name of someone you have known in other lifetimes, in other dimensions, in the spaces between lives, something in you responds. It might be a shiver, a sudden warmth, a feeling of rightness, a sense of, oh, of course, yes, I've been waiting to hear that name. Don't ignore these subtle responses. They are your soul speaking a language your mind hasn't learned yet. And there is the matter of timing, which I keep coming back to because it's so crucial and so often misunderstood. The timing is urgent now. Not desperate, not panicked, but urgent in the sense that the window is open, the conditions are aligned, the moment has arrived. This doesn't mean you need to force anything or frantically search or manufacture opportunities. It means be ready. Be open. Be available, not just in your schedule but in your heart, in your energy, in your willingness to let something new enter your life. Sometimes people miss their moments because they're too defended, too closed, too committed to the story that love isn't available to them or isn't worth the risk. Sometimes people miss their moments because they're too busy, too distracted, too focused on other things to notice what's right in front of them. Sometimes people miss their moments because they're looking for the wrong things, attached to specific outcomes or characteristics that blind them to what actually shows up. Don't be one of these people. Don't let this moment pass because you weren't paying attention or because you were too afraid or because you were too attached to how you thought it should look. The universe is bringing you a gift, a profound gift, one of the greatest gifts available in human existence, the gift of true partnership, deep recognition, transformational love. Be ready to receive it. I know that part of you is scared. Part of you doesn't believe this is really possible. Part of you has been disappointed before and is protecting itself against more disappointment. Part of you thinks maybe you're not worthy of this kind of love, maybe you're too broken or too difficult or too much or not enough. These are lies, every single one of them. You are exactly enough. You are exactly right. You are exactly who you're supposed to be, complete with all your wounds and your strengths, your light and your shadow, your grace and your mess. The person who is coming for you is not coming for some edited, perfected version of you. They're coming for you, the real you, the whole you. They will see your wounds and they will not run. They will see your shadows and they will not judge. They will see all of you and they will say yes, this is the one I've been looking for, this is the one I recognize, this is home. And you will feel the same about them. You will see their imperfections and you will not be disappointed. You will see their struggles and you will want to support them. You will see their humanity, their vulnerability, their perfectly imperfect self, and you will love them not despite these things but inclusive of them, because these things are part of who they are, part of what makes them real, part of what makes the connection authentic rather than idealized. This is what you've been waiting for, even if you didn't know you were waiting. This is what your soul has been crying out for in the quiet moments, in the lonely nights, in the times when you felt so completely unseen and unknown. This is the answer to prayers you didn't know how to pray, to longings you couldn't put into words, to needs you couldn't even acknowledge because acknowledging them hurt too much. The angels have been whispering your name in meetings. Literally. There have been gatherings in the celestial realms where your name has been spoken, where your situation has been discussed, where we have coordinated our efforts to bring about this meeting, to clear obstacles, to prepare both hearts, to align the timing. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are the focus of attention and care and orchestration that would amaze you if you could perceive it. And Archangel Michael, yes, he has been assigned to you specifically for this. Michael, whose name means, who is like God, the warrior angel, the protector, the one who stands at the thresholds of significant life transitions and guards the passage. He has been with you, standing at your door, knocking gently, waiting for you to open, waiting for you to hear, waiting for you to be ready to receive what he has been holding for you. He comes not in thunder because thunder would frighten you, would make you close rather than open. He comes in a whisper that reaches deeper than sound, that speaks directly to your soul in the language your soul understands. He comes with a message about love, about destiny, about soul agreements that predate this lifetime. He comes to tell you that it's time, that the waiting is nearly over, that the person is close, that the name will soon be revealed. He says this is not something to delay. He says the name must be spoken before sunset. This is metaphorical in some sense, because divine timing doesn't operate on clock time or calendar time. But it means there is urgency, there is importance, there is a window that is open now and might not be open in the same way later. It means pay attention now, be present now, be open now, because now is when it's happening. He says, I must remind you this is not a coincidence. And he's right. None of this is coincidence. The fact that you're reading these words right now, that's not coincidence. The fact that you've been feeling something shifting in your life recently, that's not coincidence. The fact that you've been having dreams or intuitions or sudden thoughts about love and partnership and connection, that's not coincidence. You are being prepared. You are being called. You are being invited to step into something bigger than you have lived before. You are reading this because your soul cried out to me when you were half asleep last night. In that liminal space between waking and sleeping, when the conscious mind releases its grip and the soul can speak more clearly, you called out. You asked for help, for guidance, for confirmation that you're not crazy to hope, that you're not foolish to believe that real love is possible for you. And I answered in full. I have answered with everything I'm telling you now. Now listen closely. This isn't about romance in the shallow sense that word often carries. This isn't about flowers and chocolates and dinner dates, though there will be those things too. This is bigger. This is about a connection written before you were born, a soul agreement sealed in light, a recognition that transcends the small concerns of daily life and touches something eternal. This person, the one who wants to marry you, they don't just desire you in the way that word is usually used, superficially, physically. They recognize you from another time, another plane, another life. They know you, really know you, in ways that nobody else does, in ways that maybe even you don't fully know yourself yet. Their desire is soul deep, ancient, not just about who you are now but about who you were before and who you will become. This isn't someone who just thinks you're attractive or interesting or compatible. This is someone who sees the divine spark in you, who recognizes the light that you carry, who knows that being with you will make them more fully themselves just as being with them will make you more fully yourself. This is mutual awakening, mutual recognition, mutual transformation. The connection is written before you were born. Before your first cry, before your first breath, before the first time you opened your eyes and saw this world, there was a contract, an agreement, a promise made between souls in a place where promises are sacred and binding. You agreed to find each other, to recognize each other, to love each other through whatever obstacles the physical world might present. You agreed to wake each other up, to help each other remember who you really are beneath all the conditioning and forgetting that happens when souls take on human form. And now that agreement is coming due. Now the promise is being fulfilled. Now the recognition that was guaranteed before birth is about to happen in time and space, in the concrete reality of your human life. This is not fantasy. This is not wishful thinking. This is destiny unfolding exactly as it was designed to unfold, with timing that is perfect even though it might feel like it took too long. A soul agreement sealed in light. Light here meaning truth, meaning consciousness, meaning the highest frequencies of love and awareness. This agreement was not made in darkness or unconsciousness. It was made in full awareness, with complete understanding of what it would entail, with eyes wide open to the challenges as well as the joys. Your soul knew what it was agreeing to. Your soul knew this would not always be easy. Your soul said yes anyway, because the gift is worth the challenge, because the love is worth the growth, because the recognition is worth the vulnerability. This person doesn't just desire you. They recognize you. There is a profound difference. Desire can be fleeting, based on attraction or projection or need. But recognition is eternal. Recognition says, I know you, I have always known you, and I will always know you, regardless of what form you take or what circumstances you're in. Recognition sees the soul, not just the personality. Recognition persists when attraction might fade. Recognition is the foundation that can support a lifetime of partnership and growth. They recognize you from another time. Whether this means literal past lives or the timeless space before birth or the eternal now where all moments exist simultaneously, the effect is the same. When they see you, it will be like remembering. When they hear your voice, it will be like hearing a song they forgot they knew. When they touch you, if and when that happens, it will be like returning to something, not discovering something new. This might sound strange if you don't believe in reincarnation or past lives or any of that. And you don't have to believe in any particular metaphysical framework for this to be true. The point is not the mechanism but the experience. The point is that when certain souls meet, there is an immediate depth, an immediate familiarity, an immediate sense of having known each other before. Scientists might explain this through psychology, through projection and attachment patterns and unconscious recognition of familiar traits. Mystics might explain it through reincarnation and soul families and karmic connections. Both might be right in their own way. What matters is that it feels real, that it is real in its effects, that it creates something between two people that is unusual and profound and transformative. What matters is that you will feel it, and they will feel it, and it will be undeniable even if it's unexplainable. Another plane. This points to the reality that you are multidimensional beings. You exist here, yes, in this physical world with its physical rules and physical limitations. But you also exist in other dimensions, in other frequencies, in places where the restrictions of time and space don't apply in the same way. Your soul is not confined to your body. Your consciousness is not limited to your brain. You are vast, so much vaster than you've been taught to believe. And in these other planes, these other dimensions, you and this person have been connected all along. You've been together even while apart. You've been in communication even while not speaking. You've been loving each other even while living separate lives. The meeting that is about to happen in physical reality is just the physical catching up with what has already been true in other dimensions, the material world finally reflecting what has always been real in the spiritual world. Another life. If you believe in reincarnation, this is straightforward. You and this person have been together before, in different bodies, in different times, in different cultures and contexts. You've been lovers before, maybe many times. You've been partners, spouses, companions. You've been friends, siblings, parent and child. You've known each other in multiple configurations, and each lifetime has deepened the bond, has added layers to the recognition, has strengthened the connection. If you don't believe in past lives in a literal sense, you can understand this metaphorically. The connection feels ancient, feels like it predates this meeting, feels like there is history between you even though logically there isn't. The feeling is what matters, not the metaphysical explanation. The experience of looking at someone and feeling like you've loved them before, like you've lost them before, like you've been waiting for them longer than you've been alive. This person, yes, the one who wants to marry you. Let that sink in for a moment. Not someone who might be interested in dating you casually. Not someone who thinks you're fun to hang out with. Someone who wants to marry you, who wants to make a permanent commitment, who wants to build a life with you, who sees you as their forever person. This might seem too good to be true. Part of you might be thinking, how can someone want to marry me when they haven't even met me yet? But that's just it. They have met you, in dreams, in visions, in intuitions, in the spiritual realms where souls communicate directly without the filter of words or appearances. They know you already. And when you meet in physical form, it will be confirmation of what they already know, not a discovery of something new. They don't just desire you. Let me emphasize this again because it's important. You live in a culture that focuses so much on desire, on physical attraction, on chemistry in the superficial sense. And these things matter, they're part of the human experience. But they're not the foundation of what you're about to experience. The foundation is recognition, is knowing, is seeing and being seen at the level of soul.